this. All right, listen. Mark chapter 8. We're going to get into it. And we ended chapter 7. We're talking about Jesus is like, hey, man, it's not about feeding people. It's not about the miracles. It's about salvation. Don't go to hell with a full belly and a healed stomach or whatever. And better to go to heaven hungry than to hell, go to hell full. He wasn't against feeding people. Matter of fact, he opens up by feeding 4,000 people. And he does such a good job of feeding that when you come to the end, it talks about there being, it says, afterwards, the disciples picked up 7 baskets of broken pieces that were left over. About 4,000 present. So he fed roughly 4,000 people and had tons of food left over. And this is from him doing a miracle of multiplying the bread. So he's not against feeding people or helping people. He wants us to be healthy. He wants us to be whole. But his primary goal is salvation. And as evangelists and followers of Jesus, because the Bible says we're all called to evangelize, that our lives are ministries. So if your life is a ministry and you're the pastor of your life, you're the pastor of your ministry, how is your church doing? The church of your family, the church of your workplace, the church of your home. How is your church doing? You are the pastor, whether you're the man or the woman, whether you're the husband or the wife. He says we are all his children and we all are the pastors of our own ministries, right? So how is your church doing? Not saying you need to be under a pastor. John the Baptist was still under Jesus. If you're not Jesus, then you still need to be under a pastor. But you have your own church and your own ministry. How's it doing? Okay. Jesus warns them about the yeast of the Pharisees, which means don't become hypocritical. You've seen that as a theme throughout Mark here. Don't become hypocritical. Don't say, hey, I want to serve God and I want to love God, but then you're holding people to rules you're not following. And some people say, okay, well, I got an answer to that. I won't hold anybody to any rules at all. That way I'm not a hypocrite. And that's not what God is saying. He's saying follow the rules, get yourself together, and then help others do the same. So basically get yourself in a position to go to heaven and to be obedient, because you can't willfully be disobedient and still go to heaven. Well, I thought I'm saved by grace. Yes, you are saved by grace. But that grace, unlike people, like to believe, is conditional. What? Grace is conditional? It is. If you get saved from lying and stay a liar, that's a problem. Jesus says that's a problem. If you get saved from murder, being a murderer, but you're still going out there and murdering, it's a problem. He says his saving grace should make us want to be better and to begin to change to be holy. So if we get saved from sin and never change, he's saying you never received his grace. He says, because there's no way you can receive his forgiveness for that stuff and get clean and then go right back to that disgusting stuff. There should be something in you that wants to be holy. So he's saying avoid the yeast of the Pharisees. He goes on to talk about how he heals a blind man, and then we start to see his path to the cross at the end. But this video is getting long. Listen, I love you. God bless you. Enjoy Mark chapter